Hello everyone, this is Tim, and this is actually going to be a redo of an old video of mine, lame superheroes. The reason I had to take it down, I guess I used some images that some companies didn't like me using, and I guess they were flagged. So this is just going to be me talking. So yay, go me. So lame superheroes. It's a sort of genre of superhero RPGs that I think is underrepresented, and I would like to change that. So the idea of supers campaigns, superheroes, really doesn't appeal to me. I'm not really into like the DC or the Marvel. The only comic books that I really followed when I was younger was Spawn and Venom, and both of those are sort of anti-heroes. So, I guess that's usually what I am into when it comes to superheroes, and I kind of like the supernatural element of Spawn and Venom. I just think was just cool. But he had like the mouth, and I don't know, he's pretty intense. But as far as lame superheroes go, the idea that you have like one superhero ability that is more than like a normal person would have, but not by much more. Um, like or you just you're really good at fighting. So sort of like Kick Ass would be like a non supernatural superhero where I think there's another movie called Super, and the guy just basically runs around with like a hammer and beats up criminals. So you have that element of like you don't really have a superpower, but you dress up in a suit, you're a vigilante, and you go out there and kick some ass. So I guess Batman would be a very well funded version of that. But that'd be probably too much for the sort of genre that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking about some guy who's driving around in like a station wagon or minivan, and he has like a sledgehammer in the back, and that's his superpower is that he can whack things with a sledgehammer. Or if you wanted to throw in that like supernatural like mutant sort of thing where they have like one special little edge or ability that makes them kind of special, that's I guess what I'm mostly talking about. So I can't think of the movie where Ben Stiller's in it and they all have little superpowers. I'll have to think about that before the end of the video and plop that in here, hopefully. But they all have just something that gives them a little bit of an edge. They have something that could possibly be used to help them fight crime, or if you want to go with the they're all the villains, could help them do better at crime. That would help them rob a bank perhaps, or steal cars better. Some sort of like maybe the guy's superhero power is that he can unlock things. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all the powers he has. So he can unlock cars, unlock doors. Can't think what it's called, but whatever superpower you have, can be left up to the players, or the GM can like randomly assign them. Just maybe come up with a list of lame superpowers, like being able to unlock things or being able to like turn things on, like electronic equipment, like appliances. Like he can like make the toaster, do its thing. He can make the microwave. He can put the microwave on for like a minute and a half to cook his heat up the water for tea. Very very mundane, sort of low level superheroes. And I guess this sort of goes back to my zero to hero sort of love in RPGs, especially like fantasy games, where characters don't start out as badasses. Like, while that has its place, that sort of like power fantasy, just I guess superheroes is kind of wish fulfillment in a lot of ways. I want to try to sort of tone that back a little bit and start them off just like regular Joe plus something. So average person plus something, and I think that'd be a lot of fun. It'd be a little hard. I'm doing this from like running sci-fi games where there's not a lot of supernatural stuff going on, and other games like that where you have to bring in basically just like elements of like let's say like Law and Order or something like that from TV, where there's no supernatural thing. Magic can't do it. Really high tech can't do it, especially if you're running like a modern version of a superhero game. You don't have that string to pull, so it's a little bit tougher as a GM to come up with stories and uh, you know I don't know. So I kind of think that just a little dash of supernatural stuff is probably the best for this sort of genre of lame superheroes where, they're not Superman. They just have little things. Like maybe a superpower is they can talk to goldfish, and just goldfish, nothing else, or like talk to snakes. Just something that makes them a little unique. Maybe they can like tear paper from across the room. Something that's like could benefit them in very rare instances, but whenever it does, it's very cool. Maybe like telekinetic ability, except they can only pick up like the weight of a set of keys. Something very small that they can't lift up a car. They can't be out there doing like Luke Skywalker type stuff, or Yoda lifting up a spaceship. But they can do little things. Like they can bring that maybe a half a cup of tea over to them from the microwave. The other guy, push the buttons for across the room. Whatever. I'm sure there's lots of abilities that people could come up with. Like I think in that one movie, they have like the flatulence that like knocks people out. Can kind of be silly. So this would definitely be like a sort of comedic, sort of silly modern day type of campaign. But you could set it in different time periods. You could have like Victorian era lame superheroes, or steampunk or what have you. But for me, I think modern would be the best. Or you could even like set it back in the 50s or some sort of different decade. You have some bell bottoms in the 70s, and maybe their special powers they can get their afro bigger or something. I don't know, something really lame like that. Or they can have the power to manipulate hair, so like they're the best beautician in the area because they just have a way with hair. So maybe they could telekinetically move hair. Just all kinds of weird ideas like that. I think would be kind of humorous to see in a campaign. So if you were going to have a lame superhero power, what would that super what kind of power would you like to have? Like the ability to maybe like clone yourself for like 5 minutes, and there's like a duplicate of yourself that can do something, and then I guess vanish. Anything would have any power that you would have limited capability or limited time, very short time length things that could possibly be done. But yeah, what kind of power would you have? I'd be curious to see. What would you like to play out as a character in a campaign filled with lame superheroes or lame supervillains or whatever you want to do. But yeah, I'd be curious to find out. Thanks.